how to use 2025 to guarantee your success or your continued success in 2026. This video is going to deliver on exactly that. 2025 was a bit rough for me, man, but it taught me exactly what I needed to know. And I've extracted certain lessons, key takeaways, and reflections that I'm implementing now as we speak. That's going to allow me to make 2026 the best year of my life. Not just continuing to improve my health, but so I can not just have financial freedom, but time freedom, location freedom, feel better than I've ever had before, continue multiplying my impact, all that stuff. And hopefully, this video is going to deliver for you with this value so you can implement tangible actions to get tangible results in your own life as well. And the first point that I really, really, really want to go over is it's the beginning of a new year. One of the things I do every single quarter, but especially important in Q4 going into Q1, is performing a lifestyle audit. What I mean by this is breaking down your life literally into buckets, into different categories. So, top of mind, what comes to mind is you have financially, right? You have like mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. I kind of like to group those together as like mindset. You then have your environment, you have relationships, right? You then also have your health. If you were to kind of think of, okay, what are like the main categories in life? And then let me break that down. You need to really start understanding and evaluating where are your strengths and weaknesses in regards to these different categories and different buckets. And I say that because when you really take an audit, you're going to start realizing there's things that may be holding you back. You didn't quite notice that they were. And it's only until you sit down. I prefer to write them out on paper, or you can do it on a computer, whatever works. It's not until you sit down and actually really start thinking about it and taking time to allocate towards that specific task that you realize, wait, maybe I am spending too much time on X. Or maybe this person I thought was really adding to my life, the last few interactions with them, I just feel drained after. Maybe I should remove them. Things like this. This lifestyle audit is going to be incredibly powerful because it's going to paint a full picture and a full roadmap for you to understand what are the things holding me back and how can I eliminate those things so I'm no longer carrying any weight and I have only people in my life, only resources in my life, and myself as the asset that's going to drive me into this year and make 2026 the best year of my life. I do it every single quarter. Again, I think the beginning of the year, the end of the year is the best time to do it because you get to start fresh. There is a beauty in starting fresh and having a clean slate. You can be creative, you can build something new, and you just get to move forward. Okay, so that's point number one. Take a lifestyle audit, separate your life into these different categories, and really see what is it that's holding me back in any way that's not going to help contributing me get to my goal, and how do I get rid of it completely, and then replace it with something that's actually going to drive me forward to accomplishing and achieving my goals this year. That's number one. Okay. The second one is you need to realize manifestation, affirmations, these things are great. I do think, especially from a health perspective, somebody that's done studies on the brain for over 2.5 years. This stuff is real. Affirmations do work. Manifestation is real, but it's only real if your actions and your input follows behind it. Okay. So it's great to have these big goals. It's great to say your affirmations every day, but then your identity, who you are, what you represent, what you do on a daily basis needs to actually align with the goals that you have. So, for example, if I wake up every morning and I say, I want to make sure I'm a millionaire by 25, I'm 23 now. I need to take steps every day that make sure I know how to create money, right? So make money. I need to know how to multiply my money, aka investments, however it is you do that. And then I need to learn how to three, how do I preserve that or retain that capital and not give it all away to the government in taxes or whatever. You get what I'm saying, right? That's how you know, okay, cool. I need to become the person that does X, Y, and Z. So what can I achieve my goal? Not just sit in front of the mirror and say, I'm going to be a millionaire by 25. You need to do both. One without the other makes it irrelevant. But when you combine both and you have a long term outlook and you're patient in the timeline to achievement of that goal, but you're committed and you're consistent and you focus on the inputs, but you have the outcome in mind that's driving you, that's motivating you to get there, it's only a matter of time, my friend. Okay, so that's point number two. All right, really sit down and think, who do I need to become to achieve my goals? What are things I can do to mentally train myself, like journaling, like affirmations, like meditation, like manifestation, like visualization? And then what are the actions I need to take on a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly basis to make sure I achieve that goal? Simple as that. Okay. One of the last things I want to cover, this is a concept that is extremely popular among absolute like the tops of the highest performers in the world. I'm talking about Steve Jobs. I'm talking about Elon Musk. I'm talking about the folks over at Shark Tank. They leverage a concept that I know this is mainly for entrepreneurs, but it applies to everybody that really wants to achieve anything in life. And it's called the signal to noise ratio. You may have heard of it. Essentially, the signal to noise ratio is you have 24 hours in a day, right? Imagine you spend 16 to 18 hours awake because the other 6 or 8 hours you're sleeping. You need to sit down and ask yourself, in this 18 or 16 hours, what can I do to make sure I ensure the day is productive to getting me towards my goals? If you sit down and you say, okay, there's 6 or 8 or 10 things that come to mind. Write them all down, computer, paper, whatever. You then need to really, really sit down and say, what are the only one or two tops 3 things I can do today in my 16 or 18 hours that I'm awake to make sure I'm progressing towards whatever goal that I have? And that's called the signal, the 1 or 2 things you know you need to do that may be boring, hard, repetitive, whatever, versus the noise, the 6, 7, 8, however other many things you need to do or that you want to do, but that aren't going to really move the needle forward. Let me give you an example, right? Signal would be I want to go, or the goal would be I need to go ahead and make sure I make 10K a month as an example, right? So the noise would be I want to update my profile picture. I want to change the copy on the headline. I want to make sure that the logo is making sure that it matches the brand colors. That's the noise. The signal would be I need to start raising capital to advertise so I can actually get eyes on my product. And I need to do outreach and produce content so more people know about me. You may hate content, you may hate advertising, but that's the actual signal that's going to move you forward towards your goal. In this case, as an example of making $10,000 a month, changing your profile picture might help a little bit, but really, is it a tangible needle mover? No. Changing the copy might help a little bit more, but these are the things that we do later on in the day. Once you finish your needle moving work, maybe you got the last 30 minutes of your day, you're wrapping it up, and you're like, oh man, I just forgot to do that thing. Cool. Adjust the profile picture. But then you know that that day you spent at least 1 or 2 or 3 tasks that really got you closer to your goal. And really, if you want to get extreme with it, and let's say you have 10 things written down, Steve Jobs and like I was referencing people like Elon Musk, they always go 80-20, right? I'm not talking about the 80-20 rule in particular, but if they have 10 things, they'll focus on no more than 1 or 2 things max. They don't let the signal go to 3 or 4 tasks. And the other 8 or 9 tasks, that's just the noise. And this is the most common trap, especially as an entrepreneur, primarily, but also sales reps if you maybe run your own offer one day or whatever it may be. This is the trap we all fall into, right? We want to build a new product. We want to change this. We want to edit that. But really, we just need to do the work that we know is going to move us forward, which oftentimes is the boring, repetitive, easy bullshit that we know we have to do. Okay. So if you can make sure to sum this up, that you perform a lifestyle audit and you look at these different categories, you eliminate and remove people, energy, things, resources, whatever it is that's not going to help contribute to your goal and replace them with those things that are going to help you get to your goal. That's the first part. The second part is realizing it's great to have goals, but you need to match your identity, who you are, with all that mental stuff. That's awesome, the affirmations, the visualization, but you need to match that with tangible inputs that are going to help you get to that goal. And lastly, in order to make sure you're doing that in an efficient, smooth, and accelerate the process to the acquisition or the achievement of your goal, you need to make sure every day you're really, really moving the needle. And to do that, you need to separate the noise, what maybe need to be done, but really is pretty irrelevant, versus the stuff you know you need to do to really ensure you hit that goal. When you combine these three, you're going to start dropping all the dead weight and you're going to be full steam ahead, focused. You're going to have everything you need on your path to help you get to where you want to go while being fulfilled and enjoy the process the whole way through. And next thing you know, you're keeping the goal in mind, but you're focused on how can I get closer each and every day. And next thing you know, the results will come, my friend. And that is what I have to say to you in this video. Alrighty, make sure you share this with somebody else that wants to take what they've learned in 2025 and make 2026 their best year, or make sure you double down on what's already working and still eliminate the bad stuff out of your life so you can continue having and enjoying more success in 2026, my friend. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video.